In this lecture, we will talk about sugar substitutes, or in other words, non-carcinogenic sweeteners. Sugar in sticky foods consumed either in or between meals is associated with high caries activity. These findings stimulated research on hypoacidogenic and non-acidogenic sugar substitutes that do not cause pH fall in dental plaque. However, the usefulness of sugar substitutes has to be looked upon not only from a cariological point of view, which means not from its cariogenic potential, but it is as a nutrient effect. What are the nutrients found in this substitute? Toxicological effect, if it has any toxic effect. Economic, if it is economical, an economical point of view, to add it or to replace sugar in certain foods, and technical point of view, how to insert these substitutes in the food and how it will affect the consistency, the taste, and the taste of the food. The most important issues to consider when evaluating a non-sugar sweetener in relation to dental caries are: number one, the metabolism of these non-sugar sweeteners by oral microorganisms. Are they metabolized the same way as sugars or not, and their effect on the dental plaque? Number two, the influence on cariogenic microorganisms, if they have any effect on the cariogenic microorganisms. And number three, the risk of microbial adaptation, if these bacteria can adapt to these sweeteners and can act on them the same as sugar or not. We have two main types of sugar substitutes: intense sweeteners and bulk sweeteners. We will talk about them in the next slides. Intense sweeteners. There are many natural and synthesized intense sweeteners. As the name implies, intense means that they are very intense sweet. They have very intense sweet taste, up to several thousands as sweet as sucrose. An example of this: if you taste a regular soft drinks like Coca-Cola or Pepsi and a zero sugar soft drink, you will feel that the zero sugar or what have a have a sugar substitute, or it will have very intense sweet taste, more than the regular soft drink. Examples of naturally occurring intense sweeteners are glycyrrhizine, monoline, thomatine, and mercurochrome. And there are also two very popular intense sweeteners based on amino acids or peptides, allitam and aspartame. Actually, most of the sugar substitute that is used nowadays in soft drinks is the aspartame. By the way, intense sweeteners are more used with liquids like soft drinks or drinks or that has sugar substitute. Examples of chemically synthesized sweeteners are acylophenol K, cyclamate, saccharin, and sucralose. Intense sweeteners are used in a variety of food products, for example, dentifrices, and in sweetening drops and tablets for use in food, coffee, tea, etc. But as I said, most of the intense sweeteners are used for liquids or drinks. Currently, about 30% of the carbonated beverages consumed in USA sweetened with aspartame. Intense sweeteners are not metabolized to acids by oral microorganisms, which means they are not cariogenic. But these sweeteners have limitations, such as include poor taste quality, as we said. Because of the intense sweet taste, they can leave a bitter taste at the end of the drinking. Instability, they are unstable, which makes the food or drink has a limited shelf life or have a limited expiration date. and lack of volume, and because of that they have a limit use in drinks usually, as we said, because the other foods need volume. So this the use of intense sweeteners is limited to use in drinks. It is important also to remember that other ingredients such as citric acid or phosphoric acid in the drinks may cause dental erosion. Erosion means loss of the tooth structure because of causes other than dental caries, which is related to uh, the effect of the acidity. In some products, naturally occurring sugar may also cause caries, such as fruit flavored soft drinks, although they may have sugar substitutes, but the sugar in the fruit may cause caries. Safety concerns of intense sweeteners. There are few side effects of intense sweeteners have been reported in humans. The food label must declare if a product contains a sweetener, of course. In the case of aspartame, the label must also say that the product contains a sort of phenylalanine, it is a peptide, because some individuals are unable to metabolize this amino acid, those people with phenylketonuria. So these people should be aware that this may not be suitable for them. The other type of sweeteners is called the bulk sweeteners. An example of bulk sweeteners are sugar alcohols such as sorbitol and xylitol. They are currently used in confectionery, chewing gum, chocolate, jellies, and other sweets, so they can be added to food because they can give volume. They are only partially absorbed in the small intestine and pass to the colon, where they may cause osmotic diarrhea. This is a side effect of the bulk sweeteners. So the bulk sweeteners have a limited consumption per day. You can see on the label of the food, which must declare that the food has a bulk sweetener, that there is limitation or maximum amount of consumption per day for this food that has the bulk sweetener. Usually they are not recommended in children under 3 years of age because they may cause, as we said, osmotic diarrhea, and may cause a stomach problem if they use in sugar-free medicines if the daily intake is high. As we said, it should have, because they have limited amount that should be consumed daily. Sorbitol is an example of a bulk sweetener. It is a 6-carbon sugar alcohol that cannot be utilized by the majority of microorganisms found in the dental plaque. However, some of strains of mutant streptococci lactobacilli do ferment sorbitol, which may limit its value as a non-carcinogenic sugar substitute. There are fundamental differences between the fermentation of sucrose and that of sorbitol by mutant streptococci. The differences between the fermentation of sorbitol and the fermentation of sugars. First, the fermentation of sorbitol proceeds at a slow rate, and the final pH does not reach such low levels seen with glucose or sucrose. Second, sorbitol is metabolized by enzymes which are synthesized only when the bacteria is exposed to sorbitol for a sufficient period, which means long period of time. Thirdly, fermentation of sorbitol yields considerable amounts of ethanol and format but a small proportion of lactic acid, which means that it has a limited carcinogenic potential, much less than that of sucrose. Many studies found that plaque pH drops only marginally, that a critical pH of less than 5.5, which, as you remember, the critical pH for demineralization of enamel is very seldom obtained in dental plaque following sorbitol consumption. So it has been concluded that the potential hypoacidogenic properties of sorbitol do not pose a carcinogenic threat to the majority of people. Another example of bulk sweetener is xylitol. Xylitol is a sugar alcohol with 5 carbons that is not fermented by oral microorganisms at all, which means it is not carcinogenic. Xylitol does not lower the pH of the dental plaque. It has even a bacteriostatic effect. It can limit the activity of the mutant streptococci. And xylitol has the ability to reduce the population of mutant streptococci. Other bulk sweeteners such as lycopene, malitol, and mannitol are used but in not much as xylitol, and studies have indicated that these sweeteners have a low carcinogenic potential. Lycopene is a hydrogenated starch hydrolysate. Various types have been manufactured by most lycopene products containing over 50% of malitol and low proportions of carbohydrates. Other examples of bulk sweeteners: malitol, which is a 12-carbon sugar. Malitol can be metabolized by mutant streptococci, actinomyces, and lactobacilli, but at a slower rate. But malitol does not significantly lower the plaque pH, of course, compared to sucrose. Mannitol is like sorbitol, a 6-carbon sugar alcohol, so lactobacilli and mutant streptococci can ferment mannitol, but as we said, it can give only a small or no decrease in the plaque pH compared with sucrose. So what are the recommendations for using the sugar substitutes or non-sugar sweeteners in caries prevention? The most important goal of a preventive dentistry to prevent dental caries is to reduce the consumption of sweet products to a minimum, which may be difficult to achieve. Why? Because it's very difficult to change people's behavior or what they used to behave or what they used to eat. Using non-sugar sweeteners can be a substitute for these persons to reduce the amount of sugar consumption. Use of intense and bulk sweeteners can be accepted from toxicological and nutritional point of view in certain risk products that are used very frequently, such as chewing gum, confectionery, medicine, and beverages. In chewing gum and confectionery, the caries reducing effect has been expected to be 20 to 40%, and this depends on the intake frequency of the sugar-free product and the caries activity.